Hi everybody, this is Paul Zabin again from Dance House International, and this time we've got a quick tip for you that is possibly one of the most important ones you'll ever come across. In fact, it is a base fundamental quick tip which everybody must understand if they're going to dance. So talking about timing, what are we actually saying when we talk about timing? Well, what we're saying is you must be in time with the music. Again, what does that mean? Well, it means that you and your partner or the partnership must be stepping on the exact moment that the sound is being played through the speakers. So for the guys, we've got to make sure we understand that when you're actually leading the girl to step in time with the music, you can't lead her on the same count that you wanted to step on. It's physically impossible. So girls, you've got to understand that you cannot start to step at the same time as the sound is being heard. It's too late by then. You've got to be moving ahead of time so that you can land directly on time when the sound hits the floor. Another way to look at this is you've got to prepare your partnership for the arrival on count rather than be rushed on it. That's when accidents happen. A lot of times if guys lead too early or too late, they become very forceful. Well, we become very forceful. We've got to start to take into account that whenever we're leading a partnership, if we're leading too early or too late, that can become very dangerous for the partnership. Okay, so what we spoke about before as far as leading ahead of time, we're actually going to demonstrate now. You watching? Here we go. To make Anna go back on the one count, I've actually got to start to move her on the and count. So I'm not actually going to go like this, one. That is always a pet hate of the girls, when you actually move and push and step at the same time on one count. So what we've got to face is the fact that you're holding the girl's hand with your left hand on her right hand. To make her go back, you've got to indicate what's actually going on. And put some pressure into your hand on and as Anna moves back, as Anna understands that the pressure is coming, and she begins her movement. As she begins her movement, her body travels, her foot moves, and gets out of my way so that I can actually move my foot with hers. Which means I go, and she moves on, and we arrive, both of us arrive on one. And then the same thing going the other way. I start to pull backwards, and she comes forward on, and we arrive on two. As she comes forward, I allow her to come three, and three, four. We change body weight and start moving the opposite direction. As I move back, I get out of her way, I pull her on, and we step on one, or five rather. This is number five. Push, six, hold her off, let her settle, seven, eight. So again, and one, and two, and three, and four, and five, and six, and seven, and eight. Got that? Fantastic. Now here's the alternative, guys, girls. If you start to lead early, what happens is it gets very flustered. Yeah, so if the rhythm is going one and two and three and four, and you're going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, you might be a great dancer, but you're actually out of time with the music, so it doesn't really match. It's kind of like coloring outside the lines. Yeah, I know, nobody really likes that, do we? All right, or the other way, here's the other way that is really, really bad. If you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're holding off and waiting, and the count is 5, and then you're moving on 5, and you arrive there and you want to do a turn, to rush a turn at that speed is no good for anybody. You will rip the lady's shoulder out. So you've got to make sure you're always within the rhythm. 5, 6, 7, 8. If I slow down, then this is what happens. Watch carefully. Here we go. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh, yeah. Here I say, oh, because she actually moved her body weight. She landed on that left foot coming forward, and suddenly she got a rotation which she wasn't expecting, wasn't ready for, and now the guy is being forceful to turn the lady around, and guess what's happening? That shoulder is getting all the strain. Girls don't like that. Well, at least they tell me they don't. All right, so what we spoke about before as well was if you have learned a routine in class and you're off time and you know you're off time, don't just try to force the routine through. In fact, most of the stuff that you learn in class is simply for class. A lot of times when you go out, try something new, break it up, change the steps. Don't do the same routine because a lot of times with the music that's being played, it won't fit. Sometimes it will, but a lot of times it won't. So here's a trick to remember when you're actually completely out of time or somebody says to you you're out of time. So you're going for it, you're doing your little routine, you've done your thing, and the girl's going, you're out of time. Just stop. Simple. Just stop. Heaps of people stop on the floor, sometimes for no reason at all. Yeah? And from here, all we're going to do is just go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and start again. There's no shame in it. There's no disappointment. Nobody's going to look at you like, oh my God, you've done something wrong. In fact, nobody's going to look at you at all because they're all busy remembering their own routines. So don't worry. Guys, here's another scenario that we're going to show you very quickly because a lot of times we see this happening and we really want to make sure that the guy's aware of what's going on. Girl as well, but a lot of times because the guys are leading, then you've got to change it. So the scenario is you're on time, you're moving on time, and one of you gets off time. Let's say I get off time, and then I come back into time, and now I'm on the wrong foot, and I haven't even checked if the girl's on the wrong foot or the right foot. Again, hold off, stop, have a look at her, have a look at the feet, make sure you're moving on exactly the same feet. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1. Because you're responsible for the actual speed of the music. Guys, so now we're going to get into another section called tempo, and we're actually going to be looking at that quite heavily later on in some other videos, but it's basically the speed limit that you see on the freeway, for example. If you're driving at 40 kilometers an hour, if you're driving at 80 kilometers an hour, whatever the music is that's coming out, whatever speed it's at, you've got to go at that speed. You can't be just running off on a completely different speed that you feel is appropriate.